Hey, welcome guys back to the channel. It's Maverick here today with the grand finale of Koroshi, I Love of Kill. These last few episodes have been great. We're finally going back into the past and understanding the entire story and, all the intricacies of Song Liangha and of Chateau, and, what happened between them. Why is Liangha currently the way he is? What did Chateau do? Is she really just an innocent little girl and all that? Well, I guess that's kind of rhetorical. She is an innocent little girl, but apparently she does have blood on her hands, right? Now, whether that is permanent blood or whatnot, some of you have rightfully so pointed out that this is not the first time that the anime has baited us into thinking somebody is dead when they actually aren't, or fatal injuries and whatnot. But no, I guess we can just only continue to watch and see, right? But at the very least, we now know at least a little bit why Liang Ha is off doing the things that he's doing against the various organizations and whatnot, why he cares about Chateau. But of course, what remains to be seen is why exactly is Chateau so important, right? Obviously, due to her family, due to her father, but so what? Her father is dead. What does anything have to do with Chateau? So I'm not sure if they will be answered in this episode, to be honest. I mean, this is an ongoing series after all, but we can hope. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Right. He feels familiar. I wonder if Yang Ha was actually seeking Chateau out these past 10 or so years, 15, 17 or so years, right? That is definitely interesting. Now, how much you guys want to bet that Freckles Boy is already dead, right? The OG Liang Ha. I mean, even if he didn't die right then and there, it's obvious that he's out of the picture, right? So my best guess would be that he actually is dead. Chateau shot him dead, and that's also kind of why Chateau is now having, why she's so sorry about the entire situation. But hey, it could be a misunderstanding. If so, then I gotta say, they really like to bait out these kinds of things. I guess they could go a route where it wasn't actually Chateau's fault that he died or whatnot, but I'm not sure how I feel about that kind of development though. I still want to see like why exactly, Donnie's side, or heck, even the Santokai, like what they want with Chateau. Like, is it some kind of treasure, some kind of biological weapon? Oh, I mean that's typically how these things go, right? Some big secret or something. Consider Donnie is definitely a merchant of war. That means it has to do with profit, right? Oh hey, look, not dead. Well, near dead, anyways. That's a scary scene. Again, so at the end, I still don't think Freckles Boy is going to survive this, right? So. But then, why? Nice little parallel here. What? I thought you were gonna sell him off. Why do you want him to die now? Woo! Nice one. Oh, now he's completely blind. Oh, to the head. There we go. Oh, that guy is absolutely dead. Well, I can't. You know what? Never mind. In this anime, you can't really say anybody is actually dead. Alright. How are they gonna get out of this situation? Is he going to notice the blood? Yep. Hmm. Eugene. Okay. So he never really had actual name. Now his permanent name is Lianghe, in memory of Lianghe. Huh. So he actually did. He actually did not know what happened.
来ただけだ。孫良派のことは忘れろ。そいつとお前の間に起こった全てだ。なかったことにしろ。孫良派なんてやつは存在しなかった。そういうことにしておけ。それがお前さんの身のためだ。
女の子。子供がいたはずだ。その子はどうなった？
さあな、何のことだか。
Wait.
残された現場の状況からして、撃たれた後そいつは何かの手を引くようにしてその場を離れた。どこかへ逃がしてやりたかったんだろうな。ただのヨタ話さ。ついでに忘れとけ。お大事に。
え？
なあ、今日で最後にしよう。もう戻ってこないって。
約束を何も言わずすっぽかすようなやつじゃなかった。俺はあいつをみっちり練習に付き合わせてやるんだ。誰だよ、そこで何してんだ。おい、
友達がここに住んでたんだ。何か知らない？
さあ、知らないな。
待って、僕はブルーム、こっちはエイミーだ。もしかして君、あいつの友達？名前なんて言うの？
Like Youngha.
なあ、名前ってそんなに必要なものか？
そりゃそうじゃない？誰にだって。君にだってあるでしょ？
リャンハ。孫リャンハだ。
ふざけんな。何なんだよお前、この嘘つき野郎。二度と来んな。
I don't feel like that is a reasonable reaction, but oh well. Huh. So like I said, so he actually doesn't know anything about what happened after that.
リャンハ。
So is he going to rely on instead on Chateau asking her what happened?
さすがに疲れたな。あいつはどうしたかな。無事に町まで降りてたらいいんだけど。シャトーちゃん、朝になって君が目覚めたら、どうかこんな悪い夢を覚えていませんように。
Oh, he did. So she managed to get PTSD and completely forget about him? Holy shit. That is definitely something.
Oh, 起きたんだ。よかった。君ってばつくなり、ベッドに倒れ込むんだもん。丸1日半ずっと寝てたんだよ。心配したんだから。誇りっぽいでしょ。ごめんね。古いし窮屈だし、アパートが密集してるから雑音もひどくてさ。一人でいると、それが案外落ち着くんだ。でも女の子を連れ込むには向いてなかったな。お気に入りの隠れ家なんだけど。あ、そうだ。何か飲む？喉乾いてるでしょ。はい、どうぞ。もしかして疑ってる？やだな、もう。なんなら僕が先に飲もうか？何？
No, she actually doesn't realize that this is a different dude, eh?
すっごい偶然。僕と同じ名前だ。
どうしてそんな嘘をつくんです。全部知っていたのでしょう。私に近づいた目的は何です。なぜあなたはその名前で。もしかして私が撃ってしまったあの人はあなたの大切な人だったのですか。
この部屋、外に音が漏れやすくてさ、僕に聞こえるだけの声で話してね。
助けようとしてくれたのに。
Yeah, she doesn't realize that he was
私が撃ったから
alongside him.
止まらなくて、それでも手を引いて車に。なのに私はあの人のことを忘れてのうのうと生きていただなんて。
それは違うよ。どうして君が僕を突き放せなかったのか、やっとわかった。ずっと忘れずにいたんだね、この名前を。よかった。何もかもなかったわけじゃなかったんだ。
I mean, you do have to take this kind of story with a grain of salt, right? But I mean, let's just roll with it, right? Oh, is there a...
心得ております、閣下。いや、ミスターノーブル。
No?
意味がよくわかんないな。もう一度言ってくれる？
ですからあなたを雇うにはどの程度の報酬が必要であるのかと聞いているんです。考えてみたんです。あなたと対等な関係を築くにはどうすればよいのかと。これまでいろんなことが起こりすぎて、その
This is what we're...
見苦しい姿をお見せしたりしてしまいました。
Alright.
一度仕切り直して私に。
Shh, shh, shh.
っていうかさ、仕切り直しって何？まるで
The walls are thin.
死体みたいじゃない？ひどいんだ。結構打ち解けたと思ってたのに、昨日僕に抱きついてなんて。
抱きついてなんかいません。
まあそれはそれとして、問題は君が僕を雇いた
But
い。
I kind of feel like there's some other stuff you guys haven't
自分の身内
haven't fully discussed yet. Right.
前にも言ったよね。それは諦めてって。例えば、君が母親の安否を確認しようとする。連中はそれを心待ちにしているんだ。僕らが引っかかるように積極的に利用するだろうね。この状況でベストなのは、身動きせず、何事にも一切反応しないこと。脅しもすかしも通用しないぞってね。心配するより仲間を信頼したら。お母さんのことも頼んであるんでしょ？それでも僕の言うことが聞けないのなら。
力ずくでどうとでもできるでしたっけ？できるんですか？本当に。もちろん私は抵抗します。船の時みたいな油断はしません。大暴れして大声だって出します。そしたらもうどのみちここにはいられません。
Ooh.
それ、もしかして脅しのつもり？
はい、もちろん。
Two can play the game, eh?
ただそうなってしまったらあなたはまた私を隠して一人で戦いに行ってしまうのではないかと。それは二度とごめんです。
Does she realize now that actually the one of importance is her? Not exactly Young-ha.
そもそも基本的に僕は依頼を受けない。暗殺者が窓口を構えるわけにもいかないしさ。脅しの効く相手に営業をかけて、その上で法外な報酬と情報を要求する。おそらくそれは君の想定をはるかに上回る見返りだ。だから、僕と対等に取引がしたいなら、それなりに覚悟が必要ってこと。どうする？取引成立だね。
その報酬の目安というか、見積もりをお伺いしても
Your heart?
よろしいですか？
Your body?
お金以外に。いやだってさ、君自分の保険金で支払おうとか考えそうじゃん。ああ、図星だ。
それではあなたは一体何が？
考えといてよ。僕が満足しそうな報酬。
You.
君が考えてみて。
そう言われてもお金以外、そもそもご褒美と
Although I do think Chateau is a rather sheltered girl, all things considered.
だいたい私はあの人のことを何も。
This is how we're ending this. Well, I guess that's kind of to be expected, due to like, I mean, this is supposed to be like, you know, a continuous mystery, right? Please tell me that there's at least something else after the ending credits. I'm also kind of curious, like how Liang-ha eventually got his current attitude, right? Now you could say that okay, he's kind of putting on an act or whatnot. You know, he has a serious side as well, but you don't just develop your playful side just like that, right? I do wonder. Like it would have been so easy for him to continue growing up and still take on that sort of like cold personality. Oh, forest scene. This song was quite nice. Right.
何してんの？もうどこにもいないと思ったらこんなところで日向ぼっこ？
何でもありません。
誰かに見られてもまずいし、そろそろ中に。
The copper, So this is kind of like a callback to the title screen or whatnot.
この涙の終着液があなたの愛でできているのなら、私たちの進む道には死の花が咲き誇り。
Right, I guess that's kind of supposed to be
続いていくだろう。
romantic. Kind of over dramatic, but alright. I see what they are trying to do there. Anyways, well, I will see you guys after this. Well, now, this is definitely, well, I can't say I'm too surprised by this kind of ending, right? I already said at the very beginning of this series in episode 1 that this is probably going to be one of those series where you can't really gain a satisfactory sort of answer or conclusion at the very end, because the entire mystery is the story. Once we solve the mystery, then the series will probably end as well. So it's that kind of situation. So at least we reach a certain milestone, right? The end of this anime adaptation signifies the start of an actual partnership between Liangha and Chateau, and I guess, starting from here forward, their relationship will continue to blossom as well, right? I mean, there's definitely lots and lots of other unanswered mysteries here. Again, the significance of Chateau's, of Chateau herself. What happened later on in terms of, in terms of Liangha, why, how he shaped up to be the way that he is and whatnot. Like, I mean, I guess some we can sort of try and infer, others not so much, right? And indeed, there was one. I think there's especially one very very puzzling quote, if you will, or puzzling scene in this episode, which is where we see Donnie actually saying something to a guy in a wheelchair, right? And first he called him Your Highness, and then he called him Mr. Noble. So, does that have anything to do with Chateau's father, or is it a relative of hers, or something of that sort? Is that why they are still searching for Chateau? Those are many, many questions still to be asked, right? And obviously, this is going to continue going forward, and the story will continue on from here on out. Although I do find it kind of funny that funny, amusing. I'm not quite sure what the right word for it is, but I do find it quite ironic, if you will, that Liangha was actually not there to see or understand anything about it, and indeed he was kind of forbidden from understanding more about Liangha and Chateau by Chateau's adopted parents, right? I think I'm not sure what his name is, Abel or something like that. Mr. Dankworth, right? The one who Chateau got her current name from. The retired police officer. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. So even like Liangha didn't really know too much about that either. So I guess really him meeting Chateau was just a chance meeting. And because, as he likes to say, fate brought them together, so now he can't really leave her alone or something of that sort. But even then, you do have to wonder, right? Like, why exactly he is so interested in her on in this kind of aspect, right? So I guess by taking on Liangha's name, he's also wanting to complete what Liangha was trying to do and trying to protect until his death, right? Like driving, ensuring the safety of Chateau to a certain extent. But then that kind of doesn't really go along with what's it called? The flirting and all that he is displaying towards Chateau, right? So is there actually more connection between these two? Like I do recall in some of the ending scenes that we see during the ending credits and whatnot, not this one, but previously, I actually theorized that perhaps Liangha and Chateau met sometime when they were young under more normal circumstances as well, right? So is that really true? But at the same time, I kind of feel like that doesn't really make too much sense, considering that I do get this kind of feeling that maybe this really has been over 15-17 years since Liangha has met Chateau and just happened to see her right there, and the rest is history, as they say. But who knows? Maybe there is still more mystery in regards to these two. Certainly, I am quite curious as to why Chateau herself then ask a bit more about this. But I guess we could play it off as saying that Liangha probably doesn't really want to talk too much about it either, right? So we do have that in mind. What else from this episode do we have to say? Like, well, let's talk about Freckles, right? So definitely he's a trooper and all that. I do kind of feel like the entire concept of somebody still kind of surviving for a while, even though it seems that they are dead or unconscious or whatnot, is getting kind of overused in this. But at the very least, he still it was still a fatal injury. He still died at the very end, right? At least we got that, even though I do get this feeling that he probably would have bled out a long time ago before driving hundreds of kilometers. But then again, we're not really watching this series for realism or whatnot. I mean, I could make a similar argument about Chateau just just completely blanking out and forgetting everything about Freckles and about everything that happened, even forgetting that there was actually another boy alongside Freckles, who brought her to the safe house and whatnot. But no, that's not really the point of the story. So I guess we really shouldn't concentrate too much on that. And I guess that's since this is the last episode, right? Typically, I do give my overall thoughts on this series, and what can I say? I think from the early episodes, you guys probably already know the problems that I do have with this series. It's I don't really think it's the details of it are very well thought out in terms of they're trying to build this kind of worlds of assassins and underground players and bounty hunters and so on and so forth, but you definitely get this kind of feeling that everything seems like amateur hour and whatnot, and they seem more like wannabes than actual professional cold assassins, or the amount of professionalism that's exuberated by the characters is quite lacking in a lot of ways, right? But then again, I think from the very beginning this kind of wasn't really, it was just the atmosphere of everything. It's not really meant to be detailed in that kind of way. I mean, I'm not sure if the adaptation, right, the anime adaptation itself also kind of gave it a little bit more flourish, a little bit more flair, like the ending, right, like the ending scene that we have here with them, pulling out a gun and then, actually not at each other, but they got each other's back, right? And I see where they're going with this. Is it overly dramatic, especially since it's up against an enemy that we don't even see and so on and so forth? Maybe, but I feel like that is the kind of style that they are going for, and it's definitely much more of a, I guess you would say it's a romance under the guise of or under the context or under the world of this kind of assassins and gangsters and organized crime, mafia, that kind of thing. So the actual meat of the story is actually looking at the relationship between Chateau and Liang Ha and all that. And so I mean, I guess I can accept that, because these two do make quite cute a pair. I do love the kind of interaction that they have. It's really, to me, it's really the main driving force on continuing to watch this, as alongside the backstory as well. I am glad that we were able to get some more information and finally see like what happened all those years ago. And indeed, it is a kind of a twisting and turning story, right? I think I called some things, right, like the fact that they met when they were young, and probably some sort of PTSD happened, and so on and so forth. And Chateau is probably much more important than we initially thought, and so on and so forth. But definitely in terms of like Liang Ha not actually being Liang Ha, there being another Liang Ha, right? Freckles boy and all that, and Donnie's involvement in the entire situation, and and Chateau's backstory, and so on and so forth. It's I do appreciate that at least it's not cliche, right? So that's a good thing about it. The rest, though, yeah, I definitely have to say that the highlight of this is definitely the banter and back and forth between Liang Ha and Chateau. The rest, I'm kind of iffy about, right? I'm sure. Well, I guess a lot. I do have to kind of mention the soundtrack. I do feel like the some of the music, some of the background music is a little bit overused, but in these final few episodes, they do kind of change it up and give it a bit more of variation. So, like for instance, in these last two episodes, I feel like the music was used in a pretty good fashion. It wasn't something that was a rehash of some earlier episodes when we get these serious scenes or solemn scenes or whatnot. So I do have to give a shout out to that. Definitely, I feel like the story kind of sort of bogged down during the middle episodes, and especially, well, anyways, I don't really want to get into the criticism once again. You guys can just go back and listen to everything I say about it. But anyways, yeah, all things considered, is this a good adaptation? I don't really know, since I haven't read the original manga. But at least they kind of brought the characters to life in terms of the interactions and whatnot. So that is definitely a good thing. Will I continue to watch this if there's a second season while I pick up the manga? That depends. If I do have the time, I do feel like I would probably continue watching the manga. If I do have the time, I mean, I said at the very beginning, right? I'm kind of supporting this series because one of my favorite voice actresses, Onishisari, is voicing the main character Chateau. But it's yeah, I'd have to say it's a hard decision for me to be honest. I do want to support her works and whatnot, and I do love the interactions between them. Now, some of the story and pacing and whatnot, I do have problems with. Oh, especially pacing wise. I guess I do want to mention one thing though, which is from the very beginning, like the earliest like 6 episodes or so, I mentioned that they really spend too much time on a recap where it's like what two almost 3 minutes of recap when we're not even that far along in the story, right? What is there to recap, right? So yeah, I guess they wanted to pace out the episode until they ended like at this kind of junction, so we were able to have this kind of ending here where they do reach a new milestone in the relationship. But I don't know. In that case, well, yeah, I guess it's hard to criticize them for that when I guess they are intentionally kind of stretching out the episode. But it's definitely not something to like in terms of the overall pacing either. But yeah, anyways, I guess that's all my thoughts for this series. I like the characters, I like their interactions, and that's pretty, and I like their backstory. It is a pretty good mystery, and that is about it, right? Like, if it wasn't really under this kind of setting, I guess the stakes would be kind of lower and we wouldn't really have as much action, so I guess it's kind of a moot point. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this, and especially for those who have read the manga or are reading the manga or are fans of it, do let me know how you feel about this adaptation. Is it a good adaptation? Are you really glad that this was adapted and whatnot, or do you feel like they kind of ruined the story, or there are things that they didn't adapt, they didn't put into here in terms of what the manga showed? Are the characters cooler in the manga or here in the anime, and so on and so forth? Right? Do give me some feedback about that for those who. I'm pretty sure that lots of people who are watching this are probably already fans of the series and just wanting to look at the adaptation, right? So do let me know, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for here. Thank you guys for coming along. I do other animes as well, although recently in these past 2 seasons I have been cutting back a lot since real life stuff and whatnot, but still trudging along, still continuing on. I try to at least have like 1 or 2 videos out per week, so do give those a try if it's something that you're interested in, and if not, well, hopefully I will be able to see you guys once again sometime in the future in another series. As Yanka like to say, if we meet again, then fate must have brought us back together. Alright, so that is it for now. Thank you guys, and I will hopefully see you guys next time. This is Mavry. Bye bye.